It was a sunny afternoon in the cozy little house where Whiskers the kitten, Buddy the puppy, Carlos the squirrel, and Cheyenne the mouse lived together. They were lounging around when Whiskers' nose suddenly twitched. The tantalizing scent of tuna wafted through the air, and she followed it straight to the corner of the kitchen. There it was, the tempting tuna trap. A shiny steel mousetrap gleamed ominously on the floor, its spring coiled and ready to snap. On it sat a chunk of tuna so perfectly flaky and irresistible it could have been served in a fancy restaurant. Whiskers' tail twitched in excitement as she inched closer.
Whiskers, stop! That thing's dangerous.
Forget the tuna. It could hurt your paw.
But the fish smells so good. Maybe I could... No. Terrible idea.
They all stared at the trap, collectively horrified at its menacing steel jaws. It wasn't just a trap, it was a challenge.
I've got an idea. We'll use the broom.
The team got to work. Buddy pushed the broom handle toward the trap, nudging the tuna while staying out of reach. SFX. Snap, click. The trap snapped with a deafening click, its jaws locking shut, but the tuna toppled safely onto the floor.
Success.
Whiskers purred with relief, batting the tuna toward her friends. They shared the snack, proud of their teamwork. But then they smelled something else, something irresistible for Buddy. Carlos followed the noise, his sharp squirrel instincts kicking in. His nose twitched furiously as he caught the scent of acorns roasted to perfection, the kind of snack his squirrel ancestors had only dreamed of. The acorns glimmered atop the deadliest trap yet, a high-tension setup with razor-sharp edges and a trigger plate that looked like it could flatten an encyclopedia. Carlos froze, his tail quivering. His friends caught up to find him staring, hypnotized.
Carlos, don't.
That thing looks like it could trap a bear, let alone a squirrel.
We'll need something clever for this.
One by one, the friends arranged the dominoes in a long, snaking chain. Carlos positioned the final piece, a large wooden block. Whiskers swiped her paw, starting the reaction. SFX, clack, 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 clang. The dominoes toppled spectacularly, the force nudging the acorns off the trap, just before the jaws snapped shut with a violent clang.
Okay, I'll admit, that was pretty genius.
Carlos and his friends savored the acorns, their confidence growing. But the tone shifted again. The unmistakable smell of cheese drifted toward them. Cheyenne's whiskers twitched like antennae as buttery cheese melted her tiny heart. She dashed into the dining room where a wedge of Gouda shined under the warm light. But Whiskers practically hissed.
It's a trap!
And it was, a sinisterly complex series of springs wrapped tightly around the reward. The trap looked like it had been engineered specifically to catch a mouse.
I should walk away, right? Turn around and walk away?
Right. But how do we get it for her? Safely.
The answer's in the recycling bin.
Whiskers pounced on the idea. Using cardboard tubes from old paper towel rolls and a long ruler, they constructed a slide system, sending an empty soda can sailing toward the cheese. The can hit it just as the jaws snapped shut, flinging the cheese free before the trap could do its job. SFX. Whoosh, clink, snap. Cheyenne cried happy tears as she nibbled her prize. SFX. Happy squeaks from Cheyenne.
Good teamwork, little mouse.
But as they finished their celebratory snack, there came a loud click from the kitchen. SFX. Click. Back in the kitchen, a new trap loomed. It was enormous, more daunting than anything they'd seen before. At its center was a feast, a fish platter so succulent and shiny that Whiskers' jaw practically hit the floor.
It's a trap for Whiskers.
We've got to stop her.
All right, team, last one. Let's finish this.
They worked faster than ever. Carlos darted outside and returned with garden shears. Buddy gathered blankets for padding while Cheyenne got to work tying a string. Whiskers, resisting the urge to run after the fish, helped position a mop handle. In sync, the group crafted their masterpiece. They used the mop handle to press down on the trigger from a safe distance, flipping the platter off the trap the moment it began to snap. The trap detonated with a terrifying boom, pieces flying everywhere, but the fish was unscathed, sitting innocently in the middle of the floor.
Ha! Nice work.
That was all teamwork.
We make a great squad.
They shared the fish, enjoying the spoils of their final victory. As the evening melted into night, the group lounged together in a pile of fur and feathers, feeling triumphant and closer than ever. Sometimes the scariest traps can't be outsmarted by one brain alone, but with teamwork, cleverness, and courage, anything's possible, and that's one lesson these four will always remember.